Hi, my name is Paige George, and I'm the Federal Laboratory Consortium Southeast Regional Coordinator. At the FLC, we are always looking for new ways to connect with the laboratories that make up our membership. As part of our campaign to educate, facilitate, and promote federal technology transfer, we want to provide more opportunities to take you behind the curtain of our labs to take a deep dive into some of the incredible technologies developed through the use of our technology transfer agreements. The first lab we are going to feature is a Department of Defense laboratory, the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Panama City Division, where I serve as the Technology Transfer Manager in our Office of Research and Technology Application. The mission of NSWC PCD began in the 1940s with mine countermeasures research during the World War II era. This mission has expanded to include research, development, test and evaluation, and in-service support in mine warfare, diving and life support systems, and amphibious and expeditionary warfare systems, as well as other missions in the littoral battle space, from seafloor to space and coastal regions. By 2020, the lab boasted over 1,500 employees, over 900 of which are scientists and engineers. NSWC PCD's unique location on the Gulf of Mexico in sunny Florida makes it the perfect operating location to support its littoral battle space mission. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a voyage to the world's most beautiful beaches, the home of military diving, the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Panama City Division.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cameron Matthews. I'm at Naval Surface Warfare Center, Panama City. I've been here since about 2006. I'm the Chief Scientist for Counter Unmanned Undersea Systems Technologies right now. So I first heard about collaborative research and development agreements, CRADAs, maybe 10 years ago. And I had someone come to me and say, we're not doing work in these areas, we have some partners, we want to see if we can work this out. And we started the process, and after a little while I figured out that it's a really easy way to get access to ongoing cutting-edge work. CRADAs best support research and development efforts when there is an issue of IP and a desire to share that in a way that both parties feel safe in the sharing. And CRADAs also benefit programs where industry does not have access to a technical capability that only the government can provide. Typically when we start a program, or if we're working with another contractor and a certain need arises where a CRADA fits that, meaning that partner has some form of IP that they're not comfortable sharing directly, we've managed to transfer unmanned undersea vehicle technologies to CRADA partners in academia and industry. We've also managed to develop some new methods for implementing sensors and sensor technologies into our systems. We're in the process of developing some CRADAs to actually release our government-furnished autonomy and make our vehicles completely open architecture, open source for all end users. A really good example is a current CRADA we have going on, and we needed to start transferring our fully developed government autonomy package from the man-portable and medium-class expendable vehicles we do into large diameter UUV systems. So we wanted to start manufacturing expendable LD UUVs, and C4 has a platform that is essentially ready for acceptance of that autonomy, so we entered into a CRADA with them. And the benefit was immediate. So we now have access to a developmental, expendable, large diameter UUV asset via the CRADA approach, while C4 is getting full access to the fully developed government-furnished autonomy capability.
Hi, I'm Aly Williams. I'm currently a project manager for information displays in the diving community. I've been here for about 6 years. I first heard about CRADAs from my previous project manager, who was in charge of the David system, the Diver's Augmented Vision Display. And he had been involved with them in the past and kind of introduced the concept to us and thought this would be a good project for a CRADA. And so we kind of started from there. We decided to enter into a CRADA based on a few years ago. We started out with a tasking to develop a heads-up display and a dive helmet. And so we did the research, we had a first prototype, and we kind of got to that point where we wanted to transition it to a manufactured unit, and we wanted to learn from the industry. And so we entered into a CRADA to collaborate with Coda Octopus, who's our CRADA partner, and get the system fielded, get it manufactured, and kind of move on from our research and prototyping phase. Our industry partner is Coda Octopus, and in the beginning when we were looking at CRADAs and who would be our partner, they had a lot of expertise in sonar and underwater sonar, 3D scans, live feeds, and that's something we hadn't really approached yet with our system. We were more focused on the HUD development, the heads-up display development. And so it was a good combination of them adding in their capability of sonar and adding in our HUD, and then the divers now can see like live real-time 3D sonar right in their helmet. So under this CRADA, we have worked really closely with Coda Octopus. In the very beginning, we signed the CRADA in about 2017. I traveled over there to their headquarters and sat down with their engineers and handed over our technical data package, handed over all our drawings and our concepts, and worked with them on our prototyping and kind of started from there. And then they added in their expertise and transferred it to manufacturer design and brought in like the sonar, like I said, and we just the engineers worked really closely, project management worked really closely. So normally at the Navy lab here in Panama City, we focus on the research and development, and when we partner with the CRADA, we're able to stay focused on the research and development because they transition it to a manufactured unit, they get it to the fleet, and we can focus on the next thing the Navy needs and stay more in the developmental phases while they're helping to field the unit. Resulting from the CRADA, we were able to produce a manufactured unit. The Navy has purchased some of these. There's still ongoing development that we're involved in on future capabilities or upgrades to the system. So we're still working really closely with Coda and giving a lot of feedback, a lot of technical advice or expertise from the Navy side. And we're still collaborating and working on Gen 2 David, Gen 3 David, and future capabilities, but the system is currently fielded to different Navy dive commands. The advantages of using a CRADA versus a traditional method of contracting out a product is a lot more collaborative. It's a lot more of the engineers working together day to day instead of just handing over a set of instructions or build instructions, something like that. So we've been involved in every step of the way, both on test sites, both providing feedback, technical feedback. Both partners in a CRADA benefit from the project as far as on our design side, we get a lot of manufacturing expertise and we learn more about industry practice and how to design for that better from the beginning. And then the industry partner learns a lot about our research and the Navy's needs and kind of how we get our data and what our needs are. So I think both sides benefit from a CRADA, so I definitely plan to pursue these in the future. Another great outcome of a CRADA is that we received a patent on our David system and we can now license that to our CRADA partners or industry partners, and that really benefits the inventors, the engineers, and the Navy.
On behalf of the Federal Laboratory Consortium and the Naval Surface Warfare Center Panama City Division, thank you for watching.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? You mute yourself. There's noise going on in the back. Cam. Noise in the back. All right. So I hope that everyone enjoyed our first lab spotlight presentation. I see a few questions that I'll start going through. We have myself on the line, as well as Catherine Mapp, who is our public affairs officer at the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Panama City. And she was absolutely vital in putting together this presentation and connecting all the dots and making sure that the look and feel supports both the Navy work that we do and then also the FLC's needs. So I want to say a huge thank you to our public affairs team and our graphic arts department, and then also, of course, our presenters, Allie Williams and Dr. Cameron Matthews. They did a phenomenal job in working with us to put this lab spotlight together. They're both experienced in CRADAs, and so they were obviously a good choice for us to have on this showcase. So I guess what I'll do is I'll start looking through the questions, and we can go through and talk about how we did it and why we did it, and answer any questions you have. So I'll start with the first question. Are there opportunities to sell products to the Navy based on CRADA results? And the answer is yes. I know most of the ORDAs that are on this call you know that, but at least from the David specifically, with that patent, like Allie said, they can now license that patent to Coda Octopus or any other industry partner, which can then, they can manufacture that product and then sell it back to the Navy. So that's, you know, one of the main benefits of cooperative research and development agreements is that they give the military the opportunity to get technology in the hands of the warfighter faster than you would typically be able to go using the standard military way of purchasing things and getting things made. All right, so John Eisman, thank you. How cool was that? Yes, I thought it was pretty cool. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. I know it's a Navy lab, but are there ideas of dual use that you could see as a priority for the lab? So at least for the unmanned vehicles, there are definitely dual use capabilities. You think of, you know, different scientific endeavors and the ways that people use UUVs. So the technologies that, you know, Dr. Matthews' team is working on with their partners could easily be used for both Navy and commercial applications. Same thing with the David. There are a lot of commercial diving outfits around the world that could benefit from a technology like the David system. Because you think of, you know, military diving, they're always diving in zero visibility water where they can't see much. And so giving divers the ability to see is always a benefit both in the commercial market and the military. And then what areas, where to go? Okay, what areas do you see as a hot topic for research currently? So at our lab, our main technical focus areas are mine countermeasure systems, diving and life support, expeditionary warfare. So unmanned vehicles are a huge technical capability for us. So that's, you know, Dr. Matthews' team. A lot of the work that they do is absolutely critical to our lab. So again, the technologies that we showed through this video are really some of our top priorities for collaborative partnerships. How long did it take to get the CRADA in place, concept to signature? Allie or Cam, do y'all want to hop on and answer some of these?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I don't know if my video feed is working, Paige.
Nope, we can hear you great, Cam.
Okay, so I typically have half a dozen CRADAs attached to the programs that I work with. It can take, you know, if the concept is cut and dry and there's not a lot of deliberation between the partners, it can happen in a matter of weeks when Paige and our legal department are kind of, you know, engaged and know what's going on. On the other hand, we have some going on right now that the deliberation has gone back and forth, maybe 4 or 5 iterations, because people are kind of get hung up on smaller details and nuance. But, you know, in my experience, it's better to leave them as open-ended as possible, because you typically don't know where the research and the innovation is going to take you, and you might want to add other things in. We have a CRADA with IHMC right now. I know that NIDU is actually looking to utilize in ways we hadn't planned, and you know, that we left that one very vague, and it turned out to our benefit as well, same situation. So, you know, it's usually good to kind of have a general, not specific concept in mind where you both benefit from some part of the technical area, and then just see where it goes. That's my experience.
Yeah. Thanks, Cam. Let's see. Did your CRADA partners make financial contributions to the work? And then in what situations would you do a no-fund CRADA? So Allie or Cam, do y'all want to speak to the financial contributions that the partners could provide?
Sure, I can take this one. This is Allie. So in ours, it's a no-fund CRADA, and we are funded through Naval Research ONR for this project, and they provided their own funding. And then that can change as it goes on. You know, maybe they get contracted out for a different part of it or something. But in the beginning, we both were responsible for our own funding, and it was just sharing of ideas and designs and concepts and IP protected under the CRADA.
Yep. Okay. Are there specific areas of partnership you are asking for? So just like the work that Allie and Cam are doing, our lab likes to focus on opportunities that benefit our technical capabilities and ensuring that we get technology to the fleet. So like I said before, diving and life support is one of our main focus areas, expeditionary warfare, mine countermeasure systems, underwater vehicles like what Dr. Matthews works on. So those are our main partnerships, or those are the areas that we want to partner in. But again, there's a lot of opportunities for dual use technology. So that would just kind of come up as a result of us working on one of our specific technical capabilities. Then, are there opportunities to sell products to the Navy based on CRADA results? I think I already got that one. I think I already answered that one in the beginning. Let me look through this question, the questions. So I know that we did want to touch on kind of how we made this video and why we did it, so that way other labs could do the same thing. So Beth came up with the idea of doing a lab spotlight series, because eventually we want to have the opportunity for people when they go to the FLC website and they want to see what technologies are out there and available at different labs, or what the technical capabilities are at each of our federal labs. This would be a good way for us to be able to showcase that to possible industry partners and other federal labs. So the way we've kind of envisioned this is that people will be able to go to the website and look through all the labs, and there will be, a video of some sort that they can click on and then learn more about that lab. So we chose to do this type of presentation because we have an incredible graphic arts department and an incredible public affairs office. So we were able to leverage that to put together this video. And we also used some of the shots and some of the B-roll. We're going to be able to use it for other videos as well, for recruiting videos or, whatever it is. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone. But that's just one way that we want to be able to showcase labs. So we've talked about if your lab would like to do like a TED Talk, where you just have someone talking about their technical capabilities and your CRADAs and whatever else you want to talk about to showcase your lab, that's an option. We've also talked about just doing live interviews where you have like a panel of people and they are discussing their lab and whatever else they want to showcase. So there's more than one way to do this. We just chose to do the video because we have that capability. So let me look if there are any more questions. Okay, I know it's a Navy lab. Okay, so what areas do you see as hot topics for research? Currently, I think I answered that one. How much cost sharing is expected from the CRADA partner? Allie, Cam, do y'all want to jump in on your specific experience on how much cost sharing is expected from the CRADA partner?
I can answer from our side. So kind of like I touched on before, we were funded with tasking coming from our Navy sponsor, and then we added in the capability from our CRADA partner. And so we were just kind of responsible for our own costs, like what we had been assigned in our statement of work, and then they were responsible for what they agreed to as part of the CRADA. So we kind of kept it separate of who did what. As it moved further down the line, it became more their cost once it was produced, and then once it was commercially sold. But then again, that is like part of their product line, and we stayed out of it. So there wasn't a lot of like cost sharing up front because we had separate duties under the tasking. So it can depend. And again, we were like a no funded CRADA, so that's just how it worked for us.
Yep. Cam, do you want to jump in? Okay. Yep. So like Allie said, it just depends on the CRADA, at least for us. A lot of there are a few of our CRADAs, we do get paid by the partner, but some of these no-fund CRADAs actually work out pretty well because we'll have a Navy sponsor that will fund us, and then they will also fund the CRADA partner. So again, it just depends on how you decide to set up your funding and what output you're looking to get. Okay. Let's see. I think we might have answered all the questions. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here's from Annie. Hi, Annie. Where did you find funding for this type of initiative? So I paid for part of it out of my overhead budget, and then the Public Affairs Office and the Graphic Arts Department also put in a little bit of funding because, again, we're going to use some of this for other projects. So Catherine, if you're on, if you want to jump in and kind of talk about how, like, what y'all's role was and how you kind of frame this and talk, you talk a little bit about the messaging that you were looking to have.
Yeah, hey everyone, good morning. So like Paige said early on, her and Beth came up with the idea for the video, and so Panama City being the first ones to kind of tackle this project, it could really be anything that we wanted it to be that would showcase the ways in which we transition technology and also highlight some of the great things that are unique to Panama City. So we took that opportunity to kind of show off a little bit and show off, some of our technical capabilities, whether that's unmanned systems, and then Allie had, the diving systems. So like Paige said, we also took that opportunity to get some B-roll and some footage, different things like that for other projects that we do. So we basically, Paige came to us and said, hey, we've got this thing going on and we need to create a video. And there weren't a ton of guidelines that we had received. It was pretty much, make it what, just do this video, basically. And this is, kind of the outcome that we want to get from it, was basically just to be able to showcase our technology transfer excellence. And so we quickly developed a list of questions, interview questions, that would kind of shape and mold those interviews to solicit the type of responses that we were looking to get out of those. So for both Cam and for Allie. So we went through those. Some of the questions that we asked were framed in a way that, it was similar questions, but we would ask them in a different ways to solicit a different answer. Because when you ask things, 3 different ways, you'll get 3 different answers. And so from that, we were able to get the responses that we were looking for and pair that. Our graphic arts team, they really knocked it out of the park. I don't know if you all saw the flyer that went out. So they had created a flyer, and they've actually got those templates and things available to other laboratories within FLC. So all you have to do is your graphic arts department just has to go in and change out the colors that represent your region. So for example, Paige is the Southeast Regional chair, and so we did orange for her because that was her color representation. So anyways, we have these tools available to pass on to the next group who will be doing a showcase of their facilities, and we're happy to help.
Yes, that we are happy to help. So speaking from an FLC, position right now, is that we want to allow any lab in, the FLC to be able to do this type of presentation. So it's not just limited to the Southeast. We want any lab in the FLC who wants to do a spotlight to be able to do that. So like Catherine said, we are willing to help and share everything that we've done with you so that you can have a successful showcase as well. So how long ahead of time should you plan to start the process? So Catherine, I think I approached you in April. I think that was when we first started talking about it. And
yeah, I believe it was the April timeframe when you reached out to us, and we, started kicking around ideas of conceptualizing, storyboarding of what this could be and what the desired projects and the desired end goal would be for all of this.
Yeah, and we've been pretty much hustling since April, I would say, because it does take a lot of planning because you have your principal investigators. They're always very busy and they have a very packed schedule. I think that Allie is actually on travel right now. So, you know, I mean, so it's being able to schedule your PIs to be able to come in and film. And then the mask mandate had just been lifted, so we were able to film without a mask, which was really nice. We were kind of worried that that was not going to be able to happen. And then just making sure that you get all the permissions, because a lot of what you're going to showcase are active military DoD projects, DOE projects, whatever lab you're from. So it's important that you have all of your sponsor permissions saying, yes, we are happy to share this information. You want to make sure everything that is in your spotlight is public release. So whatever process you have at your lab to do that, you want to go ahead and have that kind of laid out, like who do I need to talk to get permission to release this information. So obviously I had Catherine to lean on, so because that's part of what they do, making sure that all of our technologies that we want to show to the public it's okay to show to the public. So make sure that you and your public affairs team are like this during the entire process. And I would say give it 2 to 3 months is a good amount of time, but you just have to make sure you stay on top of all the requirements.
Yeah, something that we ran into that we had that pushed us back, kept setting us back was weather delays. So shooting outside, being able to get some of those shots, because, you know, it's always better lighting wise to try to do the interviews outside with something nice behind the person that you're interviewing. So we had issues with weather delays, so I think that set us back on filming several days. So I think the best advice from my point of view would be start early, start as early as you can, identify those key people who are going to be interviewed, identify the questions that you want to ask them, and then go ahead and schedule as soon as you can for them to go ahead and get the footage that you'll need. Because once you have that, even if it's a product that's not put together yet, it's not a final polished product, you can go ahead and send that up to your sponsors and go ahead and get those permissions, because that took some time as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then another question that we got is the objective to showcase a lab's capabilities or tech transfer from the lab, or both? So it can be anything that you want to showcase, because this is your lab showcase. What do you want to show to anyone who's going to click on that link and watch it? So for us, all of our technology transfer agreements are tied very directly to our technical capabilities. So we wanted to showcase both, because again, for this, if industry partner is looking in and saying, how can I partner with NSWC Panama City? What are their capabilities? They can look at this video and see an example of 2 of our very successful cooperative agreements, as well as our capabilities. But it really is going to be up to you. We want this to be open-ended for your lab to show what you want to show. And then who can I contact about a lab showcase from my lab? That is a great question. You can contact Beth Thomas at beththomas@federallabs.org, or you're also welcome to reach out to me, but FLC staff member, that'd be a good place to start, and we can start the process. So I think with that, it's 10 now. So are there any other questions? Let's see, there's one more. Will there be a link to this? Yes. Yes. So the goal is that you will be able to see this video at any time that you want to on the FLC's website. So with that, I think we are good to go. Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or our PIs or Catherine about this process. And again, our goal is to show that at a lab, the technology transfer manager do not work in a vacuum. So it takes a village to make technology transfer work. And I have worked very closely with the Affairs Office, you know, for years. So I encourage all of you to do that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in.